Okay. So Be'ezrat Hashem, we are Perik Dalet. Now we're going to do Pasuk Yud Het. We finished last Pasuk, last Shiur Pasuk Yud Zayin. Pasuk Yud Het. Ve'orach tzadikim ke'or noga. The way of the tzadikim, the path or the way, I don't know what's this more, the path, right? Of the tzadikim. Ke'or noga is like a radiant light. Holech, that goes. Va'or ad nechon hayom, and lights and becomes light until the middle of the day. The Gaon explains and says the following. It says that's referring to the evolvement and the development and the growth of the tzaddikim. It says the tzaddikim masehem v'darkam derech tsar v'katan. We spoke, the Gaon goes over and over again the difference between orach and derech, between the path and the way, path which is narrow versus the way which is wide, path which is less taken, versus the way that everybody goes on and uses, right? So the path can refer or to the tzaddikim or to the reshaim, versus the way that most people will use. Most people will use, and which is where most of the mistakes and or the most mundane, behavior is found. He says, obviously, when we talk about tzaddikim, we talk about the path, which is narrow, which is more difficult, which is more specific, more challenging. When you take a narrow street, it's always more difficult to access. It has to be for a specific purpose. You don't take side streets just to take side streets. There's a reason why you take those little narrow streets, because you want to get somewhere. There's a direction. There is a purpose. That's orach tzadikim. Ke'or noga. When the tzaddik starts shining, in the beginning, it's like a radiant light. Noga, the Malbim explains in many places, or noga, and the Gaon also addresses it, it's the light that starts to shine before Alot HaShachar, or by Alot HaShachar, around that time, which essentially is a reflection of the light, but is not a source of light themselves. That's Or Noga. Or Noga is a mixed, if you will, of darkness and light. But what it does, again, in the light that it shines, it's only to reflect the light that it receives. That's Or Noga. And says the Gaon, that light is still mixed, with some darkness. And because it is not pure and it's not a source of light, it's only passing on the light that it receives, reflecting the light that it receives, it doesn't shine like a source of light would. For example, the moon, the light of the moon is Or Noga, because the moon doesn't have light of its own. All it does is project the light of the sun. The Kochavim, the stars, the same thing. right? Except for the sun. The sun is an or that is a source of its own. So in the beginning, the tzaddik, as he rises and as he shines around, in his avodat Hashem, in his own path. So there is, in the beginning, he doesn't shine so much, and his tzidkut is has in it some stain of darkness, some type of cloudness, sometimes a mistake, and eventually, as he has his day gets to the middle of the day, meaning as he grows in his avodat Hashem, and he gets to the peak of his life, right, of his avodat Hashem, in the meaning of holech va'or, now it starts shining. The tzaddik becomes a source of light of his own. Actually, oh, mamash bli eruv, klal, right? There's no more contamination or mix of darkness. It becomes a pure light, and it starts shining on its own and bright and becoming bringing brightness to the world. Ad nechon hayom she'az ha'or betokfa u'meir me'or, until he reaches a level like the sun at the middle of the day shines and is a source of tremendous light. Okay, the same thing, the tzaddik reaches a level of tzidkut, a level of light of the Torah, that he himself is now becoming a source of Torah, a source of light, a source of koach and inspiration. And says the Gaon, we're not going to go into it because it's Torah Kabbalah, but there are 7 hechalim of tzaddikim. 7 hechal. Hechal is I don't know, not gates. Hechal is like rooms, right? Okay. That are prepared for the tzaddikim, and against it you have sheva medure gehinam. You have 7 layers of gehinam. So the tzaddikim will benefit from 7 rooms of kedusha, of light. Okay, we refer to it in the Yishtabach, in Yotzer Or, in the morning, every morning. We refer to the 7 hechalim. Okay, Echal Noga, Echal Ahava, is a lot, all those 7. And connected to that, the Reshaim have lo alenu shiva midurei gehinam, the 7 floors of 7 levels of Gehinnom. It says the Gaon Shlomo HaMelech is referring here to the 7 hechalin of the tzaddikim, and he breaks it down. He says orach tzaddikim, the path of tzaddikim is 1, keor is 2. It's because you have the path of the tzaddik, then you have the light that it shines in the beginning, and then the light that it shines, and the way it shines is, which is noga, has in it some mix, right? It's not a pure light, and it doesn't shine so much. Holech, but then it grows, right? Ve'or, and now we're talking about pure light, which is number 5. Ad nechon, until the middle, okay, which is an intensification again of that light. Hayom, of the day, which in itself also is another level of the light. Meaning that tzaddikim, depending on how much of their light they're able to shine in the world and how much of a source of light they can become, they benefit from those hechalin that are prepared for them. Again, and this is the Yoser Or Vore Chosher Oseshon Vore Takol that we say, right? In the morning is broken down into 7 parts, which relate to the 7 hechalin of the tzaddikim. one addition that I would like to make here, which is very interesting, is something we refer to in my shiur on the Maaseh Bereshit at the end of the Akdama of the Ramban ala Torah. Ramban says something beautiful. He says that Shlomo HaMelech prayed to Hakadosh Baruch Hu to have clarity, to have wisdom, right? He says he couldn't care about the power. He didn't care about the crown. What he cared about was to have da'at. He wanted da'at, chokhmah and da'at. The Ramban says that what was the prayer of Shlomo HaMelech? He prayed that he should have a da'at without sheker. His da'at, his intellect, his wisdom, right, should be a wisdom that is pure and not tainted by what is called sheker. And what is the sheker? We explained the sheker is the influence of the Yetzer Hara, right? That is part of an individual from the day he is born until the age of 13. We addressed this many times. And the natural course a person takes is that he doesn't identify his Yetzer Hara as Yetzer Hara until the age of 13. He thinks that's part of his behavior. That's who he is. That's part of his personality. And he builds off that foundation, intellect, chokhmah. He starts having, developing understanding. And now the society, his environment, the family, the friends, the education that he gets, that is also tainted with sheker, because there's sheker essentially almost everywhere. Okay, everywhere if it's not for the chokhmat Torah and the Torah itself, right? So by default, you grow and you might have chokhmah, but your chokhmah is tainted with sheker. Some people have a lot of sheker in their chokhmah, some people a little bit less. And what is the tikkun for it is to learn Torah and to develop within you the da'at Torah. And you can only develop da'at Torah if you learn the Torah. And that cleanse your da'at, your intellect, from the sheker that you've been living with all your life. Shlomo HaMelech, as he becomes a king, prays to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and tells HaKadosh Baruch Hu, give me chokhmah, give me the da'at without any sheker. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu grants him that level of chokhmah. And the result of that chokhmah is what? The result of that chokhmah is Shlomo HaMelech that we know. And his ability and the wisdom that he had to learn and understand everything in creation and all the secrets of creation. So when the Gaon is talking now about Or Noga, about that light that doesn't really shine, that is only a reflection of another source of light, he's referring, and he says that it's mixed with Choshech, right? There's a irbuvia of Choshech, there's a mix of darkness. That's what he's referring to. He's referring to the tzaddik that lives his life and grows, and Baruch Hashem, he is growing and he is shining, yes, and he is transferring over the light that he's receiving. But it's a major difference when the tzaddik has the ability to become a source of light, which means purity, having chokhmah that is pure, not tainted by sheker. And this is through the avodat musar, and obviously through tefillot, right? Shlomo HaMelech, the Ramban at the end of the introduction reveals to us that Shlomo HaMelech prayed for one thing, more than anything, not more than that, only one thing, HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed me with a pure chokhmah. This summarizes everything an individual would want in his life. Because if you have chokhmah that is not tainted by sheker, then you have clarity in everything that you do. Then you see the emet in everything you do. And when you think about it, how many people pray for a pure chokhmah? We pray for chokhmah. But how many people say, bless me with a chokhmah that doesn't have any sheker? This is a diamond that we revealed yesterday in the shiur on the Ramban, and it fits. It's and I think in our shiurim we've had that many times, how the different shiurim that overlap, address very similar subjects. We've had that throughout the history of our shiurim, and here is another nishika, right? That to see how this overlap is happening in an amazing way. Another nekuda that we can learn here in that pasuk is that you only become a source of light if you are pure. If you're not pure, all you can do is transfer what you're receiving, and even that is not fully clear. So, in order to be a source of light of Chokhmah, to be a source of light of Torah, to be a source of light of Tzidkut, it comes with an avodah that is called purifying yourself from the sheker. And the more you purify yourself from the sheker, the more you become a source of light. Pasuk Yutet. Any questions? All good? Pasuk Yutet. Now, the contrast from the derech of the tzaddik, derech orach of the tzaddik, derech reshaim ka'afela, the way of the reshaim, of the wicked, is all afela is darkness, but it's darkness with afela is when you have like the clouds that are very low. How do you call it? Fog. It's that afela. It's a fog with in the end darkness mixed together. And we're going to see why it's important, that mix, in a second. Lo yada'u bameh yikashelu. They don't know what will make them stumble, what will make them fail. So the Gaon says, obviously we're addressing derech, right, versus orach. Derech is the way, it's large. He says the reshaim, the path of the reshaim is very wide. A lot of people take it. It seems trendy. It seems the norm. It seems like this is what everybody's doing. And it's done out in the open. Meaning, says here the Gaon touches on nekuda, that it's not because everybody does something that means that means that they're not reshaim. Yeah, and I think in our generation we see it more than ever, that the trend of society is so messed up and so me'uvat and disgusting, right? And yet that's the trend, and that's what's accepted, and that's the norm. And if you're if you dare talking about the norm, oy vavo, you're the rasha, right? So this is the derech reshaim. Shlomo tells us the reshaim. There's so much, and they're so proactive that they need a way, a very large highway to go on. and as big and as wide and as popular and populated the way of the Reshaim is, at the end it's still ke'afela. It's still dark, and it's still confusing and thick with the fog. Why? Ki lo yad'u b'ma yikashelu. They are, says the Gaon, they are so invested and deep into their averot, into their lifestyle, into their ideologies, that they don't even know that they're sinning anymore. The concept of a sin is no longer part of their thought process. It's not part of the equation. It's not part of the formula. Mamash kemo nevuah. The Gaon is talking like as if it's a nevuah of what's going on in our days.
But it's like, sorry, apikoros or not?
I'm sorry?
It's like apikoros?
We're talking about Reshaim. And apikoros is maybe even more. These guys, they're idiots. They're Reshaim, but they're not. In apikoros, you have to be intellectual. You not just become. It's a title to be an apikoros. No, it's a ma'ala. It's not that you don't become.
Very good one.
You know, it's like somebody, the son of a grandson of a great somebody gadol ador. Who lo alenu chose a different path. So when I met him, he told me, you know, I'm an atheist. I don't believe. So I told him, I said, this is a big statement. You know, you're 18 years old. You know what it takes you to be an atheist? You have to disprove the Torah. You have to disprove the Quran. You have to disprove the New Testament. You have to disprove so many beliefs to come and say that you're an atheist. You're a big shot. I said, be humble, shut your mouth, say, I don't know, I have a hard time believing, but don't say I'm an atheist. Okay, it takes guts and a lot of intellect to say that you're an atheist. Yeah. So says the Gaon, and in contrast to the 7 hechalin of the tzaddikim, we have the 7 medurei gehinam of the reshaim, and he says derech reshaim is 1, ke'afela is 2 and 3. Why? Because afela is mixed with darkness, and it's mixed with the fog. So it's 2 layers of michshol, 2 layers or 2 reasons why you can sin. One, because you don't know where you're going, and the other one, the afela makes it even more complicated to move forward. In darkness, you don't know where you're going, but you feel like there's a path. When you have the fog, right? You see a reflection of yourself, or you see some reflection, but it's all illusion. So that's 2 and 3. And then you have lo yad'u, which is 4 and 5, right? Also, it's 2. It says lo yadu b'mei kashlu, okay? And he says it's the opposite of holech and or, because lo yad'u is you don't know, you don't know, but you also not only you don't know, but you go thinking that you know when you don't know. Bamei 6, Ikashelu is 7. So here against the 7 hechalim of the tzaddikim, we have the 7 medurei gehinam. Meaning this is what is waiting for the tzaddikim versus this is what is waiting for the reshaim. Now he says, again, without going too deep into it, it is the sword of the tefillin of the Rosh. The tefillin of the Rosh have 2 shin, one with 4 head and one with 3 head, right? Which in total is 7, which are the 7 Echalim of the Tzaddikim. And the Rasha that doesn't wear the talit, that doesn't wear the tefillin, against it, right? The emptiness of that, of not having the 2 shin with the 7 heads, with 4 and 3, right? He has now the emptiness of 7, and the emptiness of 7 is filled with the 7 Medurei Geinam.
Wow. Always ask why 4
and 3. Yeah. Now, Shlomo HaMelech is going to address 3 pesukim that have to do with the binyan, the construction, the building of the chokhmah of the Torah and its application for the next 3 pesukim. Be'ezrat Hashem.
Rabbi,
Yes.
very briefly, could you describe who is considered a Rasha? Who falls, what actions falls under?
It's we have a 3.5 prakim that addresses the Rasha versus the Tzaddik. So, for example, if in yeah. If you go pasuk Yud Dalet, I think if you go to the shiur, be'orach reshaim al tavo ve'al tasher bederech ra'im. We say that the Rasha is the one that does averot ben adam lamakom. The Ra is ben adam lachavero. Meaning a Rasha is someone that lets his ta'avot, okay, build and develop to a point where he prefers his pleasures over the responsibility of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? So this is
I'll catch up from prior
Yud Dalet we actually addressed it nicely. But that's one major difference between and the tzaddik. We know that the tzaddik is the person that does milashon tzedakah, that does chesed, that kind actions of kindness, that is just, yeah. So this is the difference between the tzaddik and the rasha, like in one word. Next pasuk. Pasuk Chaf. We're good? We'll continue? Okay. Pasuk Chaf. Beni lidvarai hakshiva. My son, listen to my speech, to my devarim. La'amarai hatoznecha, and incline your ear, right? We spoke about this, about hatoznecha, incline your ear to my amarim, to my words. Here the Gaon again brings the difference there is between the dibur and the amira. We know that there's a difference between the dibur and the amira, that the dibur is lashon kashe, right? It's talking in a harsh way, and the amira in a soft way. Yeah, we spoke about it, I think, in the beginning of the perek, if I'm not mistaken, about the chinuch. איפה זה? פסוק ד' ויורני ויאמר לי יתמוך דבריי ליבך, right? Here we had the contrast between the amira and the dibur, and how you address your son, even when it's things that are difficult. So that's one difference. Here, the Gaon addresses another difference between the dibur and the amira. He says the dibur c'est aseret ad-diberot. It refers to Torah shebichtav. דיבור התורה עצמה ותיבותיה כמו שהיא. תורה שבכתב, right? That's the דיבור that Shlomo HaMelech is referring to. So say, בני לדברי הקשיבה, my son, listen to my speech, meaning listen to the Torah שבכתב. Now, listen is akshiv. Akshiv is also to pay attention, right? The amira and the word lemor, amira, is referring to the Torah shebe'al peh, the pnimiut of the Torah, what is the intention of the Torah, the reasoning behind what the Torah says, what it says, the purpose of what the Torah says, what it says. All the Torah shebe'al peh, in its different versions of it, which is Pardes, Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sod. So he says Vaidaber, and he says that's what the pasuk means when the Torah says Vaidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, right? Why does he say lemor? Vaidaber Hashem el Moshe. So Vaidaber Hashem el Moshe, Hashem told to Moshe the Torah shebichtav. Lemor, with in it all the Torah shebe'al peh, so that he can now go and explain to the Bnei Israel the Torah shebe'al peh in the Torah shebichtav. He says, if it was only Moshe, Vaidaber Hashem el Moshe, Hashem does not have to reveal to Moshe all the Torah shebe'al peh explicitly. Moshe was chacham enough and knew how to understand all the be'al peh there is in what Hashem is telling him. So why did Hashem give him also the lemor? He says this is due to the sin or the decision the Bnei Israel took when we received the Torah after the two Dibirot. We told Moshe Rabbeinu, hey, we're scared that we're going to die. You listen and you give it over, pass it over. So because of that, right, now Moshe became the buffer and the ambassador of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that actually receives the dibur, the explicit word from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then has to pass it on to us with its explanation. So on the Diberot, what did we say? We said Na'aseh v'nishma on the Diberot, right? Which means what? We told Moshe Rabbeinu, we don't need to understand Na'aseh v'nishma on the what? On the Dibur. Give us what Hashem says, even if we don't understand it, and we don't have the Be'al Peh, right? The explanation of the Torah, we'll take it. That was the engagement that we vowed in Matan Torah. So says the Gaon, Beni lidvarai hakshiva, pay attention and listen to the Torah shebichtav, carefully. La'amarai, and on all the Torah shebe'al peh, hatoznecha, tilt your ear, and actually, we explained what does it mean to tilt your ear. It means that you humble yourself, because now you don't stay with your head up. You humble yourself, you take your head down in order to internalize what is being taught to you and actually understand it and absorb it, internalize it. That hatos necha, that's tilt your ear. So when it comes to the Torah shebichtav, you have to be careful and listen to it, meaning follow the letter. Okay, whether you understand or you don't understand it, follow it. When it comes to the Torah shebe'al peh, right, you have to humble yourself because you need to understand it better. You need to dive into it more. You need to internalize it and integrate it. Good. So again, Beni, the approach to the Torah, there is akshiva and there is atos necha. They pay attention and listen, and then there is focus, internalize, absorb. When it comes to the Torah, shebe'al peh. בסדר? פסוק כ"א. אל יליזו מעיניך. Do not lose sight from it, from the Torah, right? מעיניך. They should not go out of your eyes. שומרם, keep them, protect them, בתוך לבביך, in your heart. And here comes the Gaon that is tying up. What we say? He says, כי כל דבר צריך שלושה דברים. If you want to internalize something properly, it needs three things. Shmi'ah, listen. Re'iyah, to see. ולקחת ללב שלא לשכוח. And then take it to your heart, care for it, so that you don't forget it. Listen, see, and care. So he says, in the pasuk that we have, in the pasuk that we have in בני לדברי הקשיבה לאמרי את אוזניך אל יליזו מעיניך שומרם כן בתוך לבביך. He says it relates to these things, and he's going to explain. And he says, and they are broken into Torah shebichtav, Torah shebe'al peh, and it says the Sodot HaTorah. He said Torah shebichtav has to do with the eyes. What does that mean? The Torah shebichtav is a Torah that is written, is a Torah that you need to read. It's not a Torah that you need to get or learn from the mouth. It's not Torah shebe'al peh. It's not passed by the mouth. You need to know what is written. You need to know the psukim. You need to read the psukim. That's the power of Torah shebichtav. If it's written, it's because we need to read it to the point that we are not allowed to say by heart psukim that is written in the Torah. Unless it is part of the tefillah and we all know it and it's shagur befikol. But if not, a Torah shebichtav, you have to read it, not say it by heart. That Torah shebichtav. Torah shebe'al peh, right? The Torah shebe'al peh, you don't, it's not like Torah shebichtav. Torah shebichtav, you take a Sefer Torah, you take a Chumash, and you don't need the rabbi. You read it and you know it. You learn it. You can read what is written. When it comes to understand what is written, Torah shebe'al peh, then you need to hear it from a Rav. And the Sodot of the Torah, has to do with the live. Because the Gemara in Masechet Chagiga says, you don't teach secrets of the Torah to someone that is not worthy of it. What does it mean worthy of it? That he cares about what he learns so much that when you teach him, he understands in a minimal amount of words that you say what you mean. You can only understand someone else if you care about that person. Pay attention. In a couple, you look at your wife, she doesn't have to talk, you understand. She looks at you, you don't really have to talk, you understand. The same thing with the parents. The same thing with our kids. We care. So the very few words that they have to say is enough to understand everything they need. This is the point of reference we need to have when it comes to how much we love and we care for the Torah. And the same thing with the Talmid and the Rav. When you see that if the student understands the Rav without the Rav having to explain himself, the student is worthy to hear from the Rav the secrets of the Torah he has to share. So these are the three things. You have Torah shebichtav, you have the sight, you have what you see, you have what you hear, and then you have what you understand because of what you care. He says the same way when a person wants to build himself, first, what does he have to do? First, he reads, then he listens, and then he internalizes, right? So the Seder HaTov, the Seder is Torah shebichtav, and then Torah shebe'al peh, and then Sodot HaTorah. So this is how you build yourself. This is how you build your Torah. This is how you build your Avodat Hashem. It has to have 3 blocks, 3 bricks in everything that you learn. If you want to retain it and know it, Ma Katuv, what is written? What is the pasuk? What does it mean? And what do I learn from it? This is how you retain the Torah, and that's how you build the Torah within you. And he says this, the same way you build, that's how Khalila the Rishaim can break also. He says when somebody loses his Torah, first he's going to lose his Sodot, then he's going to lose his Torah shebe'al peh, and finally his Torah shebichtav. So what do we learn from this? That what is the closest to the person is the Torah shebichtav. Unfortunately, today it's all erbuvia, and this is why the Torah is not so clear, and this is why we have a hard time really building Talmidei Chachamim and building ourselves as Talmidei Chachamim, because we're not structured in our Torah. Today, the Sod or even or the Torah shebe'al peh comes before even the Torah shebichtav. So again, I'm just saying, but as we start, Ezrat Hashem, we just started a new cycle of the Limud Torah. At least, at least for each and every parasha, take a few psukim that you know klor, that you know good. This is what the pasuk says. This is what the Torah shebe'al peh says on these pesukim. This is what Rashi says. This is what the Ramban says. Whatever. And this is what I'm taking out of it. Let's build this habit. Let's build this habit of a proper binyan. We want to build a building that lasts, not something that's going to collapse after a little bit of wind comes. So going back to the Pesukim, he says Shlomo HaMelech, talking about talking to Beni, right? Talking to my son, like he says, the Torah is in front of you. The Torah shebichtav is here. So what is the avodah that needs to be done now? He says, Lidvaraya kshiva le'amaraya toznecha. That's referring to the ear, right? That's Torah shebe'al peh. Then he says, Al yalizu me'enecha, but you should never lose sight over it. It's the Torah shebichtav. Meaning when you learn the Torah shebe'al peh, never lose sight of your Torah shebichtav. Always refer back to the pasuk. Always refer back to the Torah shebichtav, so that you don't think while you're learning Torah shebe'al peh that you're actually learning something good when you really took a tangent and got lost. So while you learn your Torah shebe'al peh, never lose sight of the Torah shebichtav. Shomrem betoch levavecha, and that's referring to the Sodot of the Torah. Hold them, protect them, guard them well in your heart. Make sure that what you internalize, you look after it, you protect it. Good? Or yeah. this pasuk is, or the pirush of the Gaon on this pasuk is also a tremendous and very special secret or lesson that the Gaon brings to our attention on how to build our Torah in a very structured, organized way, so that Be'emet we can retain it and know it, and at any point of time, when we are asked or we're learning, okay, a sugya, we know how to refer to what at all time, because it's built properly and very well organized. And if you do that, and you are structured and you are organized, and we're going to finish with that pasuk kavbet, כי חיים הם למוצאיהם ולאכול בשרו מרפא. The Torah is life. למוצאיהם, to the one that find them. ולאכול בשרו מרפא, and it heals all the flesh, the whole body. Says the Gaon, the same way we have חיצוניות and פנימיות Torah, like we've explained. Yes, you have the Torah שבכתב, the Torah שבעל פה, you have the sodot. He says also here the same thing. פנימיות and חיצוניות, you have the nefesh and you have the body. The nefesh is the פנימיות and the body is the חיצוניות. When he says כי חיים הם למוצאיהם, it's their life to the ones that find them. To find what? What do you really find? You find what's not written, right? What's not in front of you. What are they? The secrets of the Torah. It brings life to a person, to the pnimiut of a person. It revives the person. That's the sodot of the Torah. Ulechol besaro, and to all his body, his whole body, which is the chitzoniut, right? Marpe, it heals. It says that's the refuah, meaning the Torah. When you read the Torah, shebichtav, and you know what you're doing, and you're saying it properly, it cures the body. This is why we have segulot of saying a certain psukim, or for example, Kriyat Shema. He brings Kriyat Shema. He says in Kriyat Shema we have Ramach Tevot, 248 words, like the 248 Ramach Evarim of the body. And he says every teva, every word of the Kriyat Shema, if you say it properly, will heal a part of your body. So even if you don't know the kavanah of each word and which part of your body that it connects to, the fact that you read it carefully, word for word, knowing that it's the source of refuah, it cures the body. So the Torah shebichtav, this is also a reason why we do Shnai Mikra ve'Echad Targum, not to get into it, but when you read the Mikra, right, if you read the Torah, ala seder, parasha, word for word, with the te'amim, and you say it properly, right, you heal your body, you heal yourself. We don't know, again, if you know the secrets, you know, but if you don't know, even if you don't know, says the Gaon, even if you don't know, but you know that it cures, it heals the body. And the Torah shebe'al peh and the sodot of the Torah bring life to a person. What does it mean? Bring life to the nefesh of the person. This is therapy. That's therapy. how does a person heals his emotions, heals his internal demons, heals all his yetzarim inside. מושכהו לבית המדרש. אם פגע בך מנוול זה, מושכהו לבית המקדש. If you have the יצר הרע, go to the בית המדרש, go learn. Yeah. We don't understand. You go to the Rabbanim, right? I have this problem. Go learn Torah. Learn Torah. I came, I have a problem. I need an answer. What do you tell me? Go learn Torah. Yes, because the Torah is refuah. If it's מעשה שבכל יום, yes, מעשה שבכל יום of Gdolim, that you go to them and or they tell you read this parasha or read this Tehillim or read it. Well, that's not going to do for me to read the Tehillim. Okay, so it's nice David HaMelech wrote it. Yeah, it's not, does it do anything to me? It does. That's the emet. It does. It does. The issue is that we don't give the proper attention to the dimension, the spiritual dimension, the letters and the words of the Torah Shebichtav and Shebe'al Peh have on us and on and how it affects us. Yes.
It has to be with ta'amim, you said, not just read.
Torah Shebichtav.
But with ta'amim.
With ta'amim. Because the ta'amim also do have a very big importance in the pshat of the psukim. It's a dimension of its own.
That's when you're reading it alone, you have to make sure you're reading the ta'amim correctly.
With the ta'amim, yes.
If you guys want, there's a website called Sephardic Chazanut. SephardicChazanut.com. It has every single parasha from a Sephardic Chazan with the Te'amim. It's a great way. You just follow it as you read it for the Shanaim Mikra.
Beautiful.
Wow, good tip, eh? Thank you.
Baruch Hashem. So so we just finished pasuk Kavbet. So we're Perek Dalet pasuk Kavbet. We just finished Kavbet. B'shara Tova.